Hey everyone, welcome back to Self-Serving Skillet. Today, I'm gonna make you the most beautiful breakfast using this braised beef that we just made together and this tallow that I made on Patreon. So let's get started. For this, I'm using not even one whole russet potato, but you need a russet potato or something a potato that is very starchy. And I'm going to peel this. My preferred method of peeling is to peel before I wash. That makes it so that I can grip the potato a little bit better. And then after you're done peeling it, feel free to wash it. You want to submerge that peeled potato into a pot of room temperature water until there's just a little bit above the surface. Bring it to a boil and boil for 15 minutes. Let the potato cool completely, and then we are going to shred it. I like this method a lot more than shredding the potato, squeezing out the water, maybe cooking those shreds a little bit. It just kind of eliminates a step. On a baking sheet, form those potatoes into whatever shape you want. If you want to go with little medallions, do little medallions. If you want to go with like McDonald's style hash browns, go with that. If you want one big sheet, feel free. The only reason I would do one over the other is sort of ease of preparation. If I'm deep frying, I might go for the little medallions. If I'm turning with a spatula in a shallow fry, I might go with the more substantial sort of hash brown, handheld hash browns. And if I'm going in the oven, I might opt for the full sheet tray. Either way, you're going to get them in the shape that you want and freeze them for about half an hour, 45 minutes. If you want to do it the day before, just leave them in the freezer overnight. Once those are out of the freezer, I'm gonna take a couple tablespoons, maybe 3 tablespoons of tallow and just melt it in a cast iron skillet. Now, for those of you that have seen the tallow episode, you'll know that we couldn't really bring that suet above 225, 250 Fahrenheit while we were rendering. But since it's all rendered out, we can turn it up to about 425. This is gonna turn it into much more of like a medium high heat cooking oil, and this fries potatoes so well. You have never had a potato this good. And when that comes up to temperature, keep in mind, I'm not deep frying here, I'm just pan frying. I'm a very, very thin layer of oil in there, just enough to get the outside nice and crispy. I'm gonna lay it in with a spatula, no sense in splashing yourself, and wait until the edges get nice and crispy. Now, that might not be enough. You might need to lay it in there for a little while longer, but if you flip it over and it's not done, that's not the end of the world. We can always wait till the other side crisps up, flip it back on one side. When that's all nice and crispy, I'm gonna transfer it to a baking rack. You could keep it warm in the oven. I'm just gonna put it on the counter because this is gonna come up fast for me. I'm only making this for one person. The rest is gonna go in the freezer. Now, my target audience for that is kind of myself 15 years ago. I remember standing over a pan of oil for 20 or so minutes going, why aren't these potatoes turning out the way that I want them to? You gotta cook them first. You gotta boil them first, which I prefer. You could also bake them. And after that, after you're off the heat, but before that oil has a chance to cool down, you wanna get some salt on there. The salt will stick to hot oil. We're going into that hot pan now. Make sure that your oil is still in place there. We're going in with 1 egg. Wait until the underside sears off a little bit and use a rubber spatula to kind of inch it off of the pan. Cast iron skillets can be a little bit problematic when you're dealing with eggs. Just be patient, wait for it to set a little bit, inch it off the pan, and then when it looks like it can flip, you can get your spatula under there and turn your wrist. You don't want to flip it. You don't want any air under that egg. That's how they break. And when that egg flips over, I'm going in with some of my braised beef that we made together. In the link below, it's the first link in the description of this video. And to that, I'm feeling a little goulash today. So I'm gonna go in with a little tomato paste. I'm gonna go in with some paprika, some granulated garlic, some onion powder, and I'm just gonna mix that all up in the pan. Not that anything needs to get cooked, I'm just warming it up, and then we build. This looks and smells amazing. We're just gonna get right down into it. Nice runny yolk, beautiful succulent beef. Let's just get all of this onto the fork. And that tallow makes those potatoes so crispy. That is, in fact, what McDonald's used to fry their French fries in before vegetarians went crazy on them, which ultimately does make the French fries, the things made out of potatoes, not vegetarian. So I get it, but much to the detriment of the rest of us. So if you want really crispy potatoes, you should check that out on Patreon. The beef, the pulled beef, also available on Patreon. That one I'm giving to you absolutely free as an incentive to get on over to that Patreon page. It's the top link in the description below. It's gonna be a really short one. So instead of doing my regular, I'm gonna send you to this video next, I'm gonna send you to the video in the description next, because this is all about the beef.